Stellar Blade has released. I downloaded it this morning. I had to go to bed. I was tired. It's really woken me up to the fact that there's been a lot missing, at least for me personally. And this is a video about my opinions when it comes to certain games, certain developers, certain companies. And it also highlighted something that I think a lot of people aren't too keen to sort of think about. And the first thing would be just the world and the characters and the sense of exploration. You're constantly given things to see and do, and you want to explore, and that's important in these types of games. You want to live in the world. You want to connect with the characters. And this game just does that in a way that older games used to do, and I'm not sure why that is. It may be because of the creativity and the process of creating this game was sort of unhinged by anything else. There isn't this sort of Western push for something other than just creating a really great video game first. Maybe that's it. But the other thing is that I thought about, people used to say things like, well, Activision, Blizzard, King, they made all these games, some of them good, some of them bad. Microsoft really had nothing to do with them. They never really recognized these developers or studios when they didn't own them. They never really partnered with them to create it. They did for some, but not a lot. They're not known for that. They never sort of went out and tried different games from different developers, formed relationships at the ground floor, and then sort of let them flourish over time. And you look at what happened with Stellar Blade, I think it's a great example of this difference in strategy between what Sony does and what Microsoft does. And of course you can say, well, Microsoft has the money to just skip all that, skip those relationships, just buy the studios when they've made good games. And I don't think that is something that I personally give a lot of credit for. Having a lot of money and going out and just buying every art gallery in town and then calling yourself an artist really doesn't, it rings hollow for me. So when you look at what happened just recently, right, a recent example of this, they're making Stellar Blade. Shuhei Yoshida shows up, tries the game, talks to them about it, probably, talks about gaming because he's a gamer, talks about the relationships that they're looking to form, talks about how they do it at PlayStation, and then says, would you like us to help? We think you have something special here because I've actually come to you and tried it and talked to you. They say yes. Then PlayStation puts its marketing muscle behind that project, the first project, not a studio that's made 3 or 4 hits and then purchase them. This is their first time at bat when it comes to a AAA console video game, and Sony gets behind them at the ground floor, puts the marketing muscle behind it, and here you have a great relationship being fostered at, again, the ground floor, which is completely different. Microsoft would have waited and said, skill up. How many games have they made? How much money have they made? How many copies have they sold? Just 1? Get back to us when it's 3. Okay, people seem to like it. Gamers like them. Buy. That just rings hollow for me, and I thought that this is a great example of the difference in strategy between both companies. I'm not saying that what Microsoft does is incorrect. Listen, when you've got the money to do stuff, you do stuff. I get it. Personally, though, I really enjoy what happened in the past with certain studios and Sony and their relationship with them, and I think if people are looking for an example of that right now, because a lot of the stuff that they did in the past, and people can spin that any way they want, but you're seeing it happen organically right now. You're seeing Shuhei Yoshida playing this game, offering some insight, talking to them about their vision, forming a relationship right now, and who knows where that relationship's going to go. I could see Skill Up being a major developer, first party, on the PlayStation 6 based on the success of Stellar Blade, and maybe something else that they do with Sony's help, a small project in between, and then leapfrogging into something huge with PlayStation. I feel like that's super important for companies to do in a space that's about creation and creatives first and foremost. And I think that's what Microsoft forgets, and they're not forgetting it because they don't know it. They just got a lot of money, man. They don't need to just go out there and talk to people. They could just wait and say, okay, this company made six games that people like. Let's buy them. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying I personally really enjoy this current example of how Sony forms these relationships with these studios and then gives me, as a person who owns a PlayStation, because I bought the thing. I didn't buy it to look at their financial statement. I didn't buy it to say, are they making money in TVs or movies or music? I purchased it because I wanted them to supply me games for it, unique experiences, and of course, third parties are going to show up there and I'll play those games too. But I want something unique and creative, and this is a huge example of that, because this game, for me, I'm telling you, this is a throwback in the best way possible. I'm not using the word throwback as a negative. This is Devil May Cry. This is Nier. This is like the original Resident Evil with super interesting characters and a world that you want to explore and like begs you to stay in it. This is Onimusha Warlords, the first time I played that and looked at the presentation and the characters and the subject matter and the world and the gameplay. All of that pulled me into it. Nothing else, nothing outside of it, nothing political or ideological, just a video game from creative people, and they're focused on giving you an experience that makes you feel something as a gamer. Like, there's gameplay in the game. It's not just about the look of the character. It's not just about some argument back and forth about what should and shouldn't be. It's a vision from start to finish that's been supported by a company that spotted creatives and gave them something that they needed, and that's eyes on their project. And I'm telling you, this game is so good. I cannot stop playing it. I'm about just 2 hours into it. I carried the save file over from the demo. I wasn't sure I was going to do that because I forgot the combos and stuff. But trust me, another criticism of this game from people who aren't going to play it because for some reason they're stuck on the console war Xbox thing is it's a Souls game. It's too difficult. I'm not playing it. It's a Souls game. I cannot play Souls games. I tried Elden Ring. I tried Bloodborne. I suck. Suck. So if I can play this game and enjoy it, you can play this game. It's not as difficult as Souls games. There is a story mode that you can play that makes the combat much more approachable. And yes, you can play it on that mode and still be a gamer. I just think that it's a great example of, one, just great artists, creatives, and a great game, and two, a company that can still spot creatives and support them, not after they've done things, but before, during, and after, and form that relationship. I think that's important. Let me know what you think in the comment section below about Stellar Blade. Let me know what you think about this relationship building that Sony has done in the past and giving you an example of in the present with Yoshida and Skill Up. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.